was first starting out in photography, I was passionate and hopeful and honestly, kind of clueless. I remember telling Mark that I wanted to be the kind of photographer who could make the everyday as beautiful as it felt. Where he saw a harsh midday sun, I saw the joy of a summer soccer game, the warmth of the day on my skin, the laughter in my gut. But I had no idea how to translate those feelings into a photograph. I also knew deep down that I could photograph anyone and make them look beautiful because I saw beauty in everyone. But what I didn't realize is that seeing beauty isn't the same as being able to capture it. I had the heart, but I hadn't yet developed the eye. Now, don't get me wrong, loving beauty, seeing it everywhere, that's a gift. But to make magic with a camera, that takes more than vision. It takes understanding how to work with the most magical element in photography. Light. In my last video, I shared why some photographers seem to see magic and why you might not yet. So be sure to watch that video if you haven't already. But today we're diving into the most powerful part of photography, the part that separates good from great, the part that mere mortals like us can learn to wield, natural light. I'm Brenda Bergreen, and today I'm talking about why natural light is not enough until you learn how to harness its power. A lot of beginner photographers here just use natural light, like it's some sort of magical solution, a shortcut, a time saver. But natural light on its own can be flat, dull, unflattering, especially if you don't understand how to use it. Now, natural light can be beautiful. Golden hour, window light, overcast skies, dreamy, but not all natural light is flattering or cinematic. Harsh midday light can lead to deep shadows and raccoon eyes. Flat, cloudy light is safe, but can be boring and lifeless. And indoors, natural light is often too weak or just coming from the wrong angle. Just being outside doesn't make a good photo. You're not broken if your natural light photos look kind of lifeless. You just haven't been taught to see light as a tool, not just a backdrop. So first, let's dissect what makes natural light flat so that we can know the challenges that we're solving for. Lack of direction. If there's no shadows, there's no shape. Or if the midday light is straight above and we don't use that direction properly. Harshness. Strong sun can crush highlights and deepen shadows. Cloudy days. Great for safety, but often lack that pop. And indoors, natural light often needs help or repositioning. Here's the thing, let me start with what the answer isn't. The answer is not editing. You can't fake good light in Lightroom. Contrast sliders won't add depth where there's no dimension. You can't slap on a trendy preset and expect it to fix washed out flat lighting. Yes, we can do a lot in post-production these days. Add fake sun flares, pop in a new sky, turn your photo into something surreal. But unless you're intentionally creating graphic art, that kind of editing becomes a crutch, not a craft. So instead of relying on post-production to rescue your images, start by chasing better light. Because when you shoot in good light, your editing becomes easier and way more powerful. I'm not trying to sound judgy here, but one of my biggest pet peeves when I scroll through a photographer's portfolio, or even when I get a Christmas card from one of my friends, is when the photos had clearly been covered with a trendy filter to compensate for bad light. Look, if your brand is trendy, that's totally fine. That's probably why your trendy clients hired you. But I just want to say, you owe it to your craft to first learn light, because often these photographers do have a good eye. They know how to frame a moment. They're great with people. They capture emotion beautifully, but without understanding light, they're only telling half the story. Ask me how I know. I say that with so much compassion because that was me. Early on, I leaned hard into my strengths: connection, composition, creativity. I figured I could just edit my way out of bad light, or rather have Mark edit it for me. And I avoided learning the technical stuff that felt intimidating. But the moment I started paying attention to light, like really seeing it, everything changed. Suddenly my strengths become superpowers. My images had mood, depth, texture. I stopped relying on filters to create magic and started capturing magic that was already there. Harnessing light isn't just about making your photos prettier. It's about intentionality. It's about understanding how light affects emotion, structure, even storytelling. And the good news, this isn't about chasing golden hour or finding the perfect location. although as you know, Mark and I love doing both of those things. It's about learning how to work with the light you do have and knowing how to find the angle, the moment, the small shift that transforms your image from flat to full of light. So we've talked about why editing isn't the answer. Now let's get to what is. Learning to see and use natural light on purpose. Here's the truth. Light is the raw material of photography. Everything else, composition, emotion, moment, relies on how that light shapes the scene. If photography is sculpting, then light is your chisel. So let's talk about how to actually harness it. Number one, start by training your eyes, not your camera. Before you even touch your camera, practice just observing light. Ask yourself throughout the day, is the light soft or hard? Where are the shadows falling? How does the light feel? Warm, cold, moody, vibrant? Where's the direction of light coming from? Above, behind, side, front, 45 degrees? I talk a lot about light in our travel photography ebook, so make sure you head to our shop and get that. And if you want a fun way to practice seeing light, watch a well-produced movie or TV show and study the lighting. How is the lighting helping tell the story? The only problem with this idea is that it'll make you love certain shows more and feel disappointed in others. Number two, chasing directional light, not just pretty light. Beginners often chase golden hour, which is great. In fact, Mark and I chase golden hour too, and we still do to this day. We have friends that love the challenge of shooting in bad light, and good for them. But the power of a sunrise is part of why we got into this business in the first place. So we'll wake up early any day of the week to make that happen. We do our best to schedule shoots in quality light because it definitely makes a difference. If you're looking for how to master shooting in golden hour, check out this video where I talk about it. The problem is, golden hour is fleeting. If we have an all-day shoot, we can't rely on getting everything done during the best light. We have to be able to work in any condition. Here's the good news. Even at high noon, good light exists if you know where to look. In harsh, midday light, don't look for the pretty light. Instead, look for light that sculpts. Light that comes from the side or the back creates depth and shape. Flat front light can be nice for clean portraits, but if you want mood and magic, look for that angle. Mark and I are going to do a behind the scenes field notes video about how to shoot in bad light, so make sure you're subscribed and we'll dive more into this from a practical standpoint. In the meantime, here's a practice to try. Shoot all around a subject, front, back, side, 45 degrees. Notice how the angle makes a difference. Number three, use shadows like a pro. Most people fear shadows. I want you to embrace them. Shadows create mystery, dimension, and mood. They help define your subject, especially in harsh light. When the light is harsh, seeking open shade is key to find soft light. That's the tip you usually hear, and it's a good one. I'm always identifying the open shade so that I know where it is. It's essential to getting certain clean shots. But we're going to go beyond hiding in the open shade. We're going to go beyond avoiding harsh light and actually learn to use it. This might mean getting a split light or using shadows for drama. You'll definitely need to pay attention to the angle, so practice seeing the direction of the light as we talked about in tip 2. The goal is to learn to see shadows not as problems, but as tools. Sometimes what you hide is as powerful as what you reveal, which brings us to tip number 4, understanding light quality, soft versus hard. Usually when I teach about light, I use a little acronym, CHAI, like the latte. The C is for color, which is when we're chasing golden hour or blue hour. We've already talked about A for angle. We need the H, which is hardness. Think of light on a spectrum, from soft to hard. Soft light, cloudy days, golden hour, window light, smooth shadows, flattering for faces. Hard light, direct sun, midday, strong contrast, harsh shadows, dramatic effect. Neither is better, they just tell different stories. Soft light has a purpose, and so does hard light. To learn to see hardness, you can hold your hand out in front of you and notice if the shadow under it is sharp or blurry. That's hard versus soft light. The hard light will make a sharp shadow and the soft light will make a blurry one. Once you know the difference, you can choose the one that fits your vision rather than letting that light boss you around. Next, we're going to understand the intensity of light. The last letter in CHAI is I. It stands for intensity. A lot of photographers talk about hard and soft light, which is all about the quality of the shadows. But intensity is a separate and equally important part of the light equation. Intensity is about how much light is hitting your subject. Not just whether shadows are soft or sharp, but how bright or dim the light actually is. You can have soft but intense light, like golden hour sun through thin clouds, gentle shadows, but still lots of light to work with. You can have hard but low intensity light, like a bare bulb across the room. Harsh shadows, but not necessarily bright. If there's too little light, you'll struggle with grain, focus, and flat looking skin tones. If there's too much light, you'll get blown out highlights, squinting subjects, and loss of detail. Even when shooting in soft, flattering light, pay attention to how much of it there is. That's going to affect your shutter speed, ISO, and even the mood of the photo. The easy solution would be to adjust your distance. Move your subject closer to or further from the light source. With a lamp, sure. With the sun, not so much. Instead, you can change your angle to catch more or less light. You can use reflectors, not just for softening, but also for increasing light intensity where needed. Sometimes the light is too intense and you need to use modifiers to soften it, while other times you need to use modifiers to increase it. Think of it this way: soft versus hard affects the mood. Intensity affects the exposure and impact. Both matter, but intensity is often ignored, and it's why a lot of natural light shots end up looking dull or muddy. Tip number 5, use natural modifiers. Mark and I like to move fast and nimble. Sometimes we're way out in the backcountry, so how much gear we bring matters. We don't love having a ton of equipment that slows us down. Here's the good news: you don't need reflectors and diffusers when nature's got your back. We already talked about seeking open shade under trees, buildings, canopies for that soft light. You can also utilize natural reflectors like sand, snow, or light-colored walls to bounce lighting. Windows or garage doors make great soft boxes. North-facing windows, especially for that consistent soft light. Trees, cliffs, arches, overhangs. They're not just scenery, they're potential natural modifiers. We think the magic happens at the place where the light and shadow meet. There's a behind-the-scenes clip in the backpacking with the camera video that we posted recently where Mark captured me shooting a scene, but then I moved a little, almost tripped on a root, until I'm in the shade line of a tree. Which brings us to number 6. Move your feet. This is the same tip I've given about composition in many of my how-to videos, but it applies to light too. The light isn't going to move for you. You have to move. Let me say that again. The light's not going to move for you. You have to move for it. Sometimes the difference between a flat photo and one that pops is just taking 2 steps to the side or having your subject turn slightly toward or away from the light. So no, natural light isn't enough. But if you know how to use it, it becomes the most magical, accessible, and beautiful tool you have as a photographer. And the best part? It's free. Learning light is like learning a new language. At first it's awkward, then you start to recognize the patterns, and eventually you're fluent. You start thinking in light. So here's a quick recap. If you want to harness natural light instead of being at its mercy, here are the 6 tools that'll change your work. Train your eyes before your camera. Chase directional light, not just pretty light. Use shadows like a pro. Understand light quality, soft versus hard. Pay attention to light intensity. And move your feet. The difference between flat and fantastic is often just a step away. Or just remember my favorite acronym, CHAI. That's color, hardness, angle, and intensity. The 4 elements that help you see light, shape it, and use it with intention. In the beginning of our career, Mark only wanted to shoot in good light, sunrise or sunset. And I wanted so badly for midday sun to look how it felt to me. Over the years, we've learned a lot and have pushed ourselves to see differently. I now understand and fully respect the insane power of golden hour. But we also know how to make magic at noon, in winter, or in a room with 1 window. And our images don't just look better, they feel better. I'd love to hear your biggest aha moment with light. Drop it in the comments. Better yet, tell me what you're still struggling with so I can answer or include it in an upcoming video. Seriously, we love helping thoughtful photographers grow. And I'm honestly terrified of the comment section most days, so let's make this one a place for learning and encouragement. And if you want to go deeper on light, check out my video on shooting in golden hour or this next one on why some photographers see magic.